Welcome to Beerstories from Beerstory Brewhouse. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make your beer sweeter. If you don't want to miss any videos from Beerstories, please click like and subscribe down the corner to get the newest videos directly in the YouTube feed, and you'll never miss a video from Beerstories again. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. That made me very, very happy. A couple of days ago, I was on Facebook where some guy asked how he could make his beer sweeter. And I started writing, and I wrote a lot. And I thought to myself that this would make a good video. And yeah, because I actually found 12 ways to sweeten my beers. It would be really interesting if you have any other comments, so write them down in the comments if you have any other way to sweeten your beer. But I thought I'll make a video with these 12 points. The last 2 points, they are maybe a little controversial or not used that much, but I'm actually sure that the first ways you actually know. Maybe you don't think a lot about them, but if you want to sweeten your beer, these are the things to look at. Number 1, use carapils or dextrin malt. This is a Cara Amber. You can also use crystal malts or other Cara malts. These specialty malts, they are roasted in a way, or they are malted in a way that they have these crystals inside that taste sweet. And the yeast can't ferment them, so it will make the beer sweeter. Number 2, make beers with higher alcohol. Alcohol is sweet, so yeah, that's self-explanatory. Number 3, use less bittering hops, and in general lower ABU. One of the reasons why we put hops in beers is actually to balance out the sweetness. So if you want a sweeter beer, use less hops. Especially the first hops you put in, the bittering hops, so those in 60 to 30 minutes, use less of them. And number 4 is the bittering unit versus gravity unit ratio. If you lower that, you will have less bitterness and a higher gravity, and that will make the beer sweeter. So this is actually a combination of number 2 and 3. But 4 is the tool that we use to balance our beers. If you use Brewfather, you can actually see this ratio for every beer style, and there's a middle. And if you want to go sweeter, you either get a higher OG or a lower bitterness from the hops. And you can use that as a tool to make sure it won't be overly sweet, but just sweeter than the standard if you want it that way. Number 4, add unfermentable sugars. That could be lactose or maltodextrins or just dextrin. Those sugars can't be fermented by the yeast, and it will leave a lot of sugar or higher final gravity and more sugar left in the beer, and that will make a sweeter beer. Number 6, higher mash temperature. And I'm not talking about just going from 65 degrees Celsius to 67 degrees Celsius, but I'm talking about going up in the 70s to make a wort that's not that fermentable, and that will leave you with a higher OG and a sweeter beer. Number 7, add wheat, just about 5%, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on your taste. Wheat also gives this perceived sweetness in your beer and a better foam also, but yeah, you can add wheat to make your beer a little sweeter. Number 8, more chloride and more sodium. If you're not familiar with these on how to treat your water, I have an easy guide down in the description. Yeah, chloride and sodium, that's just normal table salt. So add a teaspoon of table salt to your beer, and that will make it sweeter. That will make the malts shine more than the hops. So the perceived sweetness will be a little higher than normal. Number 9, a longer boil. And I'm not talking about just boiling for 90 minutes instead of 60 minutes. I'm talking about doing a long boil from maybe 2 to 3 hours up to 6 hours. Some breweries, they boil their beer for 24 hours if they want to make a heavy sweet stout. But these 2 to 3 to 6 hours will create a lot of Maillard reactions in your beer. Maillard reactions is when sugar and amino acids, they react the same way. If you make a steak and the heat turns the steak brown, that's actually a Maillard reaction. So this umami flavor will also make the beer taste more complex and more sweet. Yes, and number 10 is using a less attenuative yeast, like the Windsor Element. There are a lot of yeast that's less attenuative than others, and that will actually, what they can't do is they can't ferment maltotrios, so that will leave these longer sugar canes in the beer, sugar strains in the beer, and make it taste sweeter. Number 11 is where it's not that common practice, but kill the yeast and back sweeten with honey, syrup, or normal sugar, or whatever you want to make it sweeter. But then you can't bottle it and sugar carbonate. You have to force carbonate in a keg, and then add your beer to bottles or whatever you want. Number 12 is to add glycerin. I do this in all my NA beer because NA beers are thin and lack sweetness. So I add glycerin to make it thicker, to give it a great mouthfeel, and also a little bit for the sweetness. So you can add this to a normal beer as well to make it sweeter, but you will also get a very, very thick mouthfeel. So this is why this is number 12. You can do it with session beers. You shouldn't do it with normal beers. So that was it. If you have any other suggestions, please write them down in the comments. I would love to hear them. If you stick around to the end, there'll be 2 videos up here that YouTube wants you to see. I'll be really glad if you push like and subscribe down in the corner. Also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. If you have any questions, write to me through Facebook, Instagram, beerstories.dk or whatever. Write down in the comments. I'll be very happy to help. And just have a happy brewing out there.